Greetings, everyone. Tommy Hawksblood here. I'm calling from the Big Island of Hawaii. So there's just so much stuff going on. I don't know where to start. Hopefully, I have a guest calling in. My co-host coming on as well. If you've read what it's about or what it's going to be about, truth. Where is the truth, and how do we find it? In all these stories, which there are many, about good and bad aliens, where they come from, what they want, what they do, what they did. People believe these stories, people believe those stories. Tribal people believe certain stories. Religious people believe certain stories. Spiritual people believe different stories. But none of them fit together. And you can go into the historian stories about aliens, like ancient aliens, and then the whole story about the Anunnaki. Well, the thing is, people like to take a story and make it their own. And that's not too complicated. I mean, it's easy to do, but does it make it really important for anybody? If you like to read science fiction, it's a great thing. Want to watch a movie, science fiction? That's fine too. Now, somebody just told me just this a little while ago, well, TV takes stories and they just keep redoing them over and over. I said, yeah, but people create stories. I mean, she was like trying to say like Superman was a story taken from another story. Well, if you watch the original Superman, it wasn't taken anywhere from somebody's limited viewpoint of a super person able to fly. But here's the thing. We have things happening right now. Abduction. People disappearing. People missing from parks and places like that in large numbers. And where did they go? How did they disappear? There's no actual reports that parks have to make about how many people go missing in a park. Homeless people. How do they know how many people go missing in a day, a week, or a year? During a battlefield, during a major battle, war, fight, when people disappear, dead or alive, where do they go? Who wants them? Who uses them? Can they go somewhere? Do they go somewhere? Are aliens coming to take them? Well, one important book that I read a long time ago was by Barbara Marciniak. She changed a lot over the years, but when she wrote her first book, Bringers of the Dawn, she was talking about a race of beings that surround the planet and absorb souls when a person dies, which is really an important idea. How real or not it is up to a person to decide for themselves. But now, coming from a person like me, I had 4 death experiences in within a short period of time. Then I had one much later than them. All of them helped me take another step in my growth, in my spiritual growth. I was always on a spiritual quest. I never say I'm spiritual, but I was always on one. So I was involved with UFOs since I was 6 as well. I don't see Tina. I don't know what she is. She texted me this morning already, I thought. But here's the thing. These UFO conferences, there's one coming up. It's going to be on the internet because right now people can't get together. I think there's about, who knows how many speakers, 20, 30. Well, no, it must be up around 30 at least. And it's for 6 hours. They want $55, which isn't bad for a conference, I guess. But they want you to join their site, which is for half a year, like $255 for the year, $555. Again, to hear what? More stories? More ideas? I wouldn't pay anything for a lie, where most people would rather pay for a lie than pay for anything that's true. Now, I promise you, I only try to bring the truth out here. From my experiences, people that I trust, like Tina, and other people that come on my show. I'm just wondering what's happening. I was dealing with half of the night with people claiming there's no such thing as karma. Aliens created us, all these things. I mean, do you want to believe any of it? You can, if it suits you, makes you happy. But you know what I say? This all comes around when you're on your dying bed. I mean, some people just die without knowing it. But if you're on your dying bed, you have the ability to think about what's going to happen next. Are you ready? Are you prepared to deal with that even? Understand it at any level? Do you have a clue what's going to happen? You know, you can say a lot of things. I believe this. I know this is true. This is my truth. But is it really? Is it not somebody else's truth that was hand fed to you, that you were programmed to believe? Well, I'm at the point where I studied so many different things. I look for the truth every which way: religions, spiritualists, medicine people, shamans, all those words. All right. Now, the thing that's really critical. Hold on, let me just check the chat. Somebody should be there. I don't see him. But, all right. I have been involved with so many experiences in my life. I can't say I don't believe it. I don't know that it's true. I mean, I prove things to myself. And in this lifetime, the most important thing you need to do for yourself is prove something's real to you. Not what anybody else says, not what anybody else writes. It's what you can prove for real. Are you ready to deal with the truth? Most people say, oh, I got the truth, I know the truth. Well, if you listen to stories that was written by man, guess what? You don't have any truth. Man's truth is always twisted. Look at how far man has moved since they were first brought here. We weren't hatched here. We weren't like pulled out of the ground here. We were brought here. But what did we do to move forward? You can listen to all these people on Ancient Aliens and all these so-called scientists and doctor's degree people claiming this, that, and the other thing. Problem is, with all that, there's almost zero proof. Pyramids, they have no clue why, how, or where, anything about them. Then again, so there was pyramids here. Does that mean they used superpowers? And was there any laser beams on top of the machine, on the top of the pyramids that were left? Why is it not anything about it was left if there was so many important things revolving around it? Now, hieroglyphics and all the writings show that they were very indifferent or unaware of the truth. I mean, the pyramids, when they show about reincarnation, is so pathetic. What they did during that time frame to prepare a person for reincarnating was not very beneficial, real, or true. In relating it to trying to reincarnate back into that body. So the idea of gods. Hold on. One of those days, I can tell, like every other day. Lately, they've been changing greatly with stories, people speaking about different things that they have no awareness about or what they care about. All right, let's start at the beginning. Where did man come from? Why are they here? Now, the biggest story being pushed on everybody, and more so because of one person. His name is Zechariah Sitchin. He claimed to translate the Sumerian tablets into his idea of what it actually meant. The story of Enoch came out, Anu and all those people came out of it. If you want to believe it, that's fine. But the Emerald tablets were older, and the story is different. But somebody who was writing, and it was obviously after, tried to unite them and make it the same story, as they are trying to make all the stories the same right now. They all are not the same. You can't mix the Inky Anu story with the Enoch story, with Jesus' story, Moses' story, Buddha's story. They're not the same. Not the same God. Not the same religion. Not the same path. Not the same idea. Buddha's ideas were a certain way, considering Hinduism was the first religion on the planet. And then that split into Buddhism. But then you have 2,000 religions now, and each one of them has slightly or a wider concept of what the religion's supposed to be about. The problem is, since then, religions have changed their concepts of a god or path, a particular path. The concept of a god was different through time because God came out by man creating the word God. They gave it other words. And perceiving the definition in the present time, which is very vain to what God is. All right. I don't know what happened to my. Just let me check one thing here. Just checking to see if these people are coming on. Well, we each need to find our truth. But hopefully when you find it, it's the truth, not a story, not an idea, and not just a feeling. Now, what I tell people, to understand the truth, you have to dive into whatever the subject that you're dealing with around it is. Being alive, I mean, how do you know you're alive? How do you know it's not a dream? How do you know this isn't just somebody else's dream that you're in? I mean, those concepts, you can play with all of them. But when it comes to reality, and you're dealing with yourself on a daily basis, trying to eat, trying to get a job, trying to have a relationship and all that, what is real? Just about everything you could go through. You have to breathe air, you have to take a shower, you have to do those things. So is it a dream? Well, it's an awful boring dream most of the time, and sometimes it could get exciting. But if that's what you want to believe in, that's your story. But when we bring the UFO world into this reality, into the dream and experience, or whatever you want to call it, a lot of things change. But most of it is based on other people's stories written down. Except, I mean, boy, Tina's not here yet, but abduction. All right, that's a totally different aspect. All right. When we go further from that, the book of Enoch, the book of, Revelations in the Bible. We got the Sumerian tablets. We got the Urantia. We got a lot of different stories written, telling different stories. And they're not the same, not even close. And then when you go into history, what man has done, what they say they have done, and then we get in the UFO world a lot of translations from people saying that they're talking to aliens and writing the stories of what they're telling them. Meaning what? What are the stories that are being told? Well, to me, the most ridiculous story is the story about the Anunnaki. And how they're the creators and they're gods and they were God and they created all this other stuff along the way. Created man. The Emerald Tablets, I believe a little more founding because I studied them and went through a bunch of different things with that. But things that you need to learn in this lifetime, which aren't pushed much for a couple of reasons. And one is past life experiences, understanding what soul has gone through to get to where it is today, what it was in past lives, right? Not just the present moment in other worlds, other realities, what you have done during those time frames, why you're who and what you are today, what your karma is, and all those other things around that. But we hear stories over and over, and trying to program us into accepting the idea the Anunnaki brought us here, programmed us to do this, that, and the other thing. Well, I'll tell you this. aliens do exist. All right. The problem as we move along is, what are you willing to experience? How far are you willing to go? And are you ready to go further? The whole story about aliens not coming here because we're not ready. Man created that. They always been here. So how much do they want to be known is up to them, not up to us. And in the UFO world, we have a couple big name speakers that are pushing certain parts of the UFO world, reality, into disclosure. Disclosure means, okay, proving that something's real. Like aliens are real, they do come here. Well, the evidence that they have today outside of the secret government is very little. People that say they've been abducted, they were on a ship, and things like that. Most of them are stories. And I did past life regression and all those kind of things, work with hypnosis. Take a person that says this, that, and the other thing, bring them in, hypnotize them, and get them to explain certain things. Most people that get abducted for real aren't aware of anything that goes on, other than they know they couldn't move, couldn't react, and they were being operated on. Outside of that, they don't know what the aliens were thinking, wanting to do, and why they were doing that. But then you have, I did a TV show with 4 different people talking about the UFO things that they experienced. And one of them said they were having sex with the reptilian race. So, you get what you want, or you create what you want out of the story you're going to tell people. How much of it is it real? When you're telling a story, can anybody else prove your story? And most of the time, people telling a story can't prove their own story. Now, Fire in the Sky, Travis Walton, when he said he was abducted and people saw him get taken on a ship, that was as real as you possibly could get, because he had 3 witnesses. I don't know if the number's changing because he wants to do the movie over, but the number of people that saw him. And then he was missing for days. And those people in town were almost being blamed for killing him. And then he comes walking out of nowhere, completely burnt up, and whatever they did to him and stuff like that. But today, he's still rearranging his story, recreating it. And the other thing that happens to a lot of abductees, they claim to be spiritual after it happens. I spoke at a couple different UFO conferences, and listening to the people that I had to go speak with, against, or with as well, and his stories. I challenge everybody. I'm bad. I want to believe the truth, and I want to know that it's the truth, not because somebody said so. All right. If I tell you I created you, do you believe it? No, I hope you don't. What would I have to do to prove it to you? Create another person right in front of your eyes. Can I do that? Of course not. Can any of these alien races and claim and teaching people and programming people to believe what they're telling them? No, they can't. Now, I'm an open-ended book. I mean, you're not going to read something that I don't say publicly or openly about myself, what I did, what I happened to go through, and all those kind of things. Do I consider myself lucky? No. Not about what I went through, but do I consider lucky where I'm at right now? Yes. Soul has to grow, and that's the only reason why it's here. It's not here to play, well, is that story real? Is that story real? Are they real? Are they real? Who cares? It's not about them. Soul comes here for itself. Soul's not here for 7.4 billion people. And people don't realize that. They all think they're here to help make the world better. The world doesn't need to be better. I mean, for the people living on it and what they're doing, they got a choice, and they choose to make it worse. So if a little kid's playing in a sandbox, throwing his cars out of the sandbox, is it up to you to say, no, you have to keep him in the sandbox? Why? The little boy doesn't want him in the sandbox. But living life, you drink, you smoke, do drugs, you do what you want, you have sex all the time, you don't have sex. It's up to you. Is there a right and wrong? No. Is there karma created by your actions? Yes. And so in the long run, the idea of right and wrong becomes an important issue. Are you doing the right things? Or are you doing the wrong things? Can you do things in examples or what's happening? Or would you rather just listen to somebody telling you great stories about, oh, I was on a ship and they're going to do this and they're mining this and they're. Is it going to help you anyway in your life? I was next to a Bigfoot. Is that going to help you, me talking about that over and over? I was next to an alien. Is that going to help you about it? Well, let me see the picture. Let me see the alien. It's a matter of putting your own truth together, or adding other people's stories to it. Well, I don't want to go into religion. Tina doesn't like religion, so I don't know where she is. I hope she's okay. I could have sworn I got a text from her this morning. My birthday was a couple days ago, and she said happy birthday. So, I don't know. We'll see. But here's the thing. I got the chat open for questions. If you want to know things that most people don't know about death, life, birth, things like that. Aliens don't get into that. When people meet with aliens, they don't get into that. And another word that goes along with aliens is demons and entities. The separation from interdimensional beings and all that. Are they all similar, meaning part of this reality? Are they all real? I'll tell you something, just about anything you perceive is real or was real. The stories behind it are twisted and changed. Mankind likes to make it fit into something that he feels good about. And if it's a really bad story, they wash it or hide it away. Because the whole story of the Native Nation in the United States is squashed and hidden, what they did to the Native people. So are you ready to move forward in this reality, understanding why you're really here? Not somebody telling you why you're here. What's really happening? Why aliens are here, what they want, what they feel, what they are growing with. Now, most alien races, probably all of them, have no feelings and emotions like the human race does. So you think they care how you feel about something? How you revolve, cry, laugh about something? No? When they operate on people in their ships and things like that, do you think they care what you feel, how you feel it? Some people come back with the worst pain and everything else. But then again, most people that come back from an abduction are programmed. And in the UFO world, they don't like to go into that word, programmed, or dream world, imaginary place. You got a group of people called, in the UFO world, MUFON. And they supposedly been working in the UFO world for a long period of time, taking down stories and everything else. But what did they do about it? Nothing. I tried to get involved with that. I was going to become one of the investigators in Hawaii. Found out the only person they had here was a drunk, and he didn't care about nothing. And then I looked at what they did. They sold their UFO information for money to another person who was trying to hide everything about all of that. His name is Mr. Bigelow. He runs the Bigelow Space Station Center, and he's involved with a lot of different things. He talks in his own way about what he wants people to hear or not. But he's creating space stations up there where he's planning on going soon to hang up there. Why would he buy every bit of information about aliens and UFOs here? Because he doesn't want people to know. Check out the Stardust Ranch, and then check out the Skinwalker Ranch. Both of them have, the one was older, had a lot of UFO stuff going on, alien stuff going on. But the Stardust Ranch is somebody I knew personally for a while, years, who had a lot of stuff going on as property. And it's real. But does it help anybody move forward? James Gillen of the East City Ranch brings people out there to see UFOs and everything else, claims there's good aliens around them and all that. Good aliens. What do good aliens do? Nothing. What do bad aliens do? Many things. Program people, take people, eat people, abuse people. Do you want the truth? That's the truth. I've been working with it since I was 6 years old. All right. I was born in 1952. So 6 years from that is when I had my first UFO experience. So it became real, all of it. Even just seeing an alien, being close to an alien, all that. But all it does is open your eyes to what's really out there. I mean, I was playing with my mother. We had poltergeists, and they were real, but we didn't have people to tell us that they were real or not. You see something go flying across the room, it was real. I mean, I was a comedian and a jokester, but I didn't have a string tied and pull it across the room to scare myself. So experiences you put yourself through will help you understand, hopefully, where you want to go. Now, all these big name speakers, they feel, they think, or they say, well, these people felt that, these people knew that. People don't know much, and that's why they stay here in this reality. When they talk about the aliens are going to raise our consciousness, our vibration, change the vibration of the planet, get ready for the reset. Well, we never got reset to a place where it was beneficial. Go back to Atlantis. Oh, there she is. We got her.
Thanks, everybody.
Greetings, Miss Late Person.
Family crisis. It's been one thing after another this week. I do apologise to everyone. The week I've had, you would not believe.
Oh, we would believe it. Taking on a ship's a week. I mean, a lifetime of an experience to begin with.
Well,
So,
Gordon, sorry.
Just to see, I'll let her introduce herself and let her say hi to everybody.
Hi, everybody. I'm Tina Barrett here in the UK, and I'm extremely late, and I do apologise. And we weren't on last week because of me as well. I had a COVID-19 notice here in the UK to say that I had to quarantine and self-isolate, which meant I couldn't leave my house. And there's lots of things I couldn't do, and had to go back to work today, which is why I'm late back, and had a family crisis as well. And so all of that in one. Anyway, so here tonight I'm here with Rev.Hawksblood, and we're talking about anything unusual, UFOs, extraterrestrial contact, phenomenon. I'm Tina Barrett here in the UK, and I run Hive, the human individuals visited by extraterrestrials, or you can find me as ET Girl there in the corner. And I'm from the UK in England. So Tommy, over to you. And again, I do apologise everyone that I'm late.
Well, greetings, a pleasure. Glad you made it. I basically kind of created a title talking about truth about aliens.
Yes.
This is a conference coming up, and it's going to be like 30 speakers on it. And I just said, you can listen to speakers 24 hours, a whole year, and still know nothing true. The stories they tell are great. The things that happen are great. But the problem is, which Tina's one of the exceptions, has a little more proof than anybody else out there. People get up and they like the new word, which we talk about here and there, about the word experiencer. It just means somebody claiming they had an experience. It was a pretty decent experience. They got out of their bed and they were suddenly on a ship talking to aliens. Well, how real it is, I will say probably not very. With all these things happening, they don't have one shred of proof. Tina has so much proof in her story, in her life, is incredible. And people need to realize it's time for proof. We got the Book of Enoch, the Book of this, the Book of the Anunnaki, the Enochians, and you name the words of the things that happen in religion, spiritualism, and teachings of different so-called alien races. But is it beneficial to us in any way? And what can we do to make it beneficial for us?
Well, now, I've got a couple. Sorry, Tony. Carry on. I've got a couple of questions to write down.
Tina has a lot of beneficial information, which can help a lot of people understand it much better than people that don't have the experience themselves. I'll give it back to Tina.
So there's a couple of things. Tommy always brings up brilliant things because I love Tommy. We agree on so much, but because I think we look at things from opposite sides. So it's not all one-sided. Tommy's more level-headed and has years of experience in ufology. Tommy is a ufologist and he's an expert and specialist. I'm not an experiencer. I'm an abductee in this field. So I only know about my experience, what I've seen and what I've told to my investigator. And that's Tommy's the one or the experience. So I always bow down to Tommy. I don't know. I always get things wrong. I don't know technical terms. I know about me, my experience, my job, and my life, and that's it. But a couple of things Tommy did say, though, because I'm learning more, it's a learning process as I go along, is Tommy's made some really good points. We've had old civilizations. Tommy's named, I think, he's had it, apart from the Aztecs and Mayans, Tommy's pretty much nailed it there. But that's old knowledge we've chosen to ignore. The scientific world has chosen to ignore it because they don't understand it, can't read it, can't dictate or determine where it's come from. And the verbal passed down knowledge that goes along with it is long since dead. So anything the governments, I think, in my personal view, have found, they've kept themselves and they've not shared with the public because I think you'd have too many views, which is fair enough. But I'm not an expert on that. But the other thing Tommy said right at the beginning was it is time for truth. Now, please forgive me if I get this wrong. Tommy will always put me right. This week, within the last 7 days, on the news here in England, they get like a Sky News scroll down. It's been on Google, so you Google it, please. It was one, I think it's the Israeli Air Force. I want to say that. Please do excuse me if I get it wrong. I'm terribly sorry. One of the head leaders, I think, is either one under the president or one of the head in the military or something along those lines, have come out and said not only is alien contact happening, it's real. The only reason it's not been disclosed to the world is because they don't think the culture, we're not accepting of it more. But they've actually come out now, and Israel is the first country to come out publicly and say aliens do exist. There is a treaty. They said the Americans have seen him, have signed it. They've not disclosed that fact or told the American public that. But I think he's actually still a working minister in the Israeli Air Force or military or in their government. So, and he is like one of the well-known, quite a decorated person in Israeli government, to actually come out this last 7 days to say that, yes, alien is real, contact is happening, but it's kept to a security and minimal level until they can work it into society. So, but they're one of the first countries to come out and admit it is going on.
Well, what's funny, he kind of, I think he actually just stepped down, and that's why he's coming out, because he would probably be in serious trouble right now. But he did talk about Trump. He did talk about Trump's hiding certain things and wanted to come out with it. They didn't want him to release the truth yet. If Trump had it, he would release it. He's desperate right now. So the truth's going to come out through all this, though, because too many people are battling over who's supposed to know, why we shouldn't know, why we're not ready. Mankind has always been ready. They make mankind look like ignorant fools, like we don't want the truth. We don't want to know what's right. We don't want to know what's destroying the planet. We want to know the truth. The bottom line, more people now want the truth, but they're afraid to hear it.
Yeah.
I mean, like right now, these UFO people tell good stories. So you tell everybody good things, they'll want to listen to it. Tell them bad things, they don't want to listen. Sometimes people tune in here and they hear something they don't like and they turn off. But see, the truth is,
that's choice too, Tommy. People can tune in and turn off. That's choice. When you're being abducted against your will, that's not choice.
Right. That's something so different that Tina knows more about than anybody else out there in mainstream. I have never been abducted. I was next to an alien race. I was watching my brother almost get abducted, and I stopped it. But I wasn't taken on a ship. Neither was he. But when we go back to what's happening right now, we're at a critical point. Trump's trying to destroy the United States every which way he can now. He's only got about 6 more weeks, and he's going to do whatever he can. I'm so afraid. Right now, China's preparing a war, and it could be with the United States. Do people want to hear that? Canada's being loaded up with Chinese armies right now. Why?
But again, we don't. I mean, again, we don't know. It's just because we're everyone's in a different objective place. Everyone sees things differently. So it could be that humanity shouldn't be fighting each other. If China's sending the troops to Canada, I'd please do God, Lord, hope to God that it's for peaceful reasons and they're there as a presence to ward off alien armies, if you like. The human race should be working together. We're man, woman, doesn't matter what color, what species, we're all from the human race. Every country should be supporting each other right now in this. You're not killing each other. You should be helping the
Well,
people in.
that's, but see, we don't talk about spiritualism much on the show, which is fine.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: China has their goal, and their goal is to run facts on that. Okay, uh, basically, why they're building multiple army bases, where Putin himself came out and said what, and this was between 4 and 6 months before Trump was elected. He was talking about they're working with 27 alien races. He actually said, Putin said 2 alien races want to destroy this planet. And then at that time, Trump wasn't elected. He said, I want Trump to come out and tell the world about what really happened at 9/11, which nobody knows, and what really happened with alien races, what the government's doing with them. So Trump never did that. But when Trump met Putin the day after, he goes, I'm creating a space army, which the United States already had. He just renamed it. All right. So, and then the next week, a week later, he comes out, I want to be president when we land on Mars. Why would he say that? Considering the awareness we have of the space program right now, we're so far from landing on Mars and having a civilization there in our reality of what we're programmed to believe in. So the truth's in pieces in different places. So all I can tell you is if you're interested in the truth, you have to keep following it. There's always a starting point. I say pick a word. I tried to find out when the word love was created. It took me 2 years to find out it wasn't created. It came into existence when Jesus came to this planet. It wasn't in existence before that. Well, to say the Mayans loved us, the Mayans, nobody, they didn't use those kind of words. They didn't have those kind of feelings. Women and men were always separate, always, all through history, all through races. So when we talk about truth, we have a lot of different people coming out with these great stories now. But can it help us? Now, what I say, without getting into religion, we all need to respect each other as the same kind of a being, a human being, what that entails. Not a reptilian, not a gray, not any of those other words. We need to accept ourselves as human, caring, compassionate beings. If we can't recognize that, we can't move forward. Aliens don't have feelings and emotions, and I'll let Tina talk about that. I mean, they don't care if we have a pain in our left hand, right hand. I dealt with Majestic 12, and they were created to keep and control anything happening in the United States about the UFO world. And I was offered honey. I talked about this a couple times about honey that could cure and heal our diseases, but he was killed. So, even inside people's own agreement of people working together, they can't agree to help each other. If anything could help mankind, we should be worried about using it and making it work. Not like making more weapons to destroy more things, to attack aliens. Well, oh, they're friendly. We're waiting for the friendly alien races to come down. Well, is it happening? But I'll give it back over to Tina. Tina, just try to tell him, because, you've been abducted. Not like a lot of people say, well, what happens? The feelings you went through, the emotions, and all those things are yours, and nobody.
Yeah, so I see where Tommy's coming from. So when you're a child, you don't know anything about emotions. You don't know what they are. When you're a baby, you don't know. The only thing you do is scream. You don't know you're screaming because you're hungry, and your mum picks up the signal, she picks you up and feeds you. When you're a toddler, you're having tantrums because the hormones going. You don't know. You can't verbalize things. You can't identify things. You don't know what emotions are. Once you get to later life or teenage years, you think you're in love because it's an idea or something you've seen or something you feel inside. And you know right from wrong at a teenager. You know what is right, what is wrong, what morally is right and wrong. And, you push boundaries. That's what you do as a teenager. As an adult, again, you feel responsibility, you feel love, you feel neglect. There's a whole range of emotions we each physically feel inside, because you cry when you're upset or you cry when you're happy. So we physically are attached to our emotions, and mentally it affects us in different ways. When they take you, when you've been abducted or they take you, you're not in control of your body. So and your brain doesn't work. So it does work, but it doesn't. So it's the wrong word there. It's when you're laid there, you're paralyzed. You can't move. You don't know that you're not breathing, or you don't know that your mechanism inside you is working to breathe. You can only look, in my experience, you can only look like forwards, or sometimes I was set up at an angle, so I could literally just couldn't move my head, or I could just see with my eyes, and I couldn't move my eyes a lot either. I could just, so you can only got the field of vision in front of you at like a 30-degree angle. So sometimes when you're laid down on a table and you're looking up, you can't tell the distance until either that one of them will look over you, or something comes into view, or you're just blinded by the light, really. You don't feel alone, but when you do start to feel something, so you're laid there, and it's, if you can connect their Wi-Fi, I can connect their Wi-Fi, so it's like a grey mist in your head. So when they're close to you, it's like a live stream. And when they hit you, or you can look inside their memories, it's like a different movie's playing, and you can just hop into each one and explore that. But once you do that, all of them on that ship, or all of them in that place, know what you're doing. They can see you looking back. When they look inside you, when they're scurrying inside your head to look for information, when they're all in this Wi-Fi connection, that's the best way I just can describe it. When they're all in this link, they all rush in. There's no filter. There's no control. If the one that's closest to you, or like one of the taller ones, not one of the little ones, not supposed to look, they don't connect and talk to you. The ones that are a bit taller, the one who knows me, they control it. So whether that's a control filter to stop you feeling or hearing, but he will control what they're hearing, whether it's like a safety mechanism for you, or to stop me listening to them, or learning too much, I don't know. But when you're in there, they don't have emotion. There's no, you can visually see their memories. So it's like watching a movie. You can be like at a Western. You can be part of the Western and go along with it and see everything that's going along. But you're seeing like an Alice through the Looking Glass glimpse. Or the other type, and there's no emotion. They don't feel emotion. There's no emotion attached to that memory like we do. Like if you smell birthday cake or perfume, it will remind you of somebody. They don't, in their memories, in their link, they don't really kind of have that. Well, when they brought this baby over to me, now, when you ask, you don't know you're asking questions because you're paralyzed and you can't move. I don't think I was supposed to be awake. I'm pretty sure I wasn't supposed to be awake, but at this point I was awake. And when you were laid there, and you like, they sat me up, they told me what was going to kind of happen, and they tell you in your head, and you kind of laid there, like, you know, what's going on, kind of thing. You don't know you've asked a question until they're talking to you. So you must, because your brain is kind of numb. There's no output signals. You're looking. There has been a few times I've probably been allowed to ask questions, but I don't know how I ask them. But I know when I get like the reply back, and you don't know you've answered it. But anyway, they brought this baby over to me, and it was a bit of a shock at first, because I wasn't. They didn't tell me it was a baby at first. They showed me these pods, and little girls were talking to me. But when they brought this baby, and they kind of held it up to me, the horror, it was like horror and shock for me. So they whatever the sedative they'd given to me, either I was burning through it, or it was wearing enough for me to feel I couldn't move. And I just felt, I realised in their link. So whatever I was thinking, they were seeing in their link, all of them, not just the one next to me or the baby. I was linked to all of them, and all of them could feel it, and they took the baby away. Now they understood that I was upset. Now, they couldn't gauge my reaction, whether they thought I could get up and walk about, whether my anger or strength or upset. They could feel that, and they didn't want to be near that. So I don't know, but they could. They don't have it in them, but they saw that it's like a warning sign. So whether it was my hormones that flared up, or it must have been screaming inside my head, I have no idea. But the warning signs went out. They picked up the baby was gone in a second. It was gone, and they'd all kind of like everything white light, and I was flat bang on this table, and that was it. Looking up. When they sat me up again, they told me that I wouldn't be able to move, but they'd get me comfortable, wouldn't be allowed to move my hands, and I was like this. They turned my head this way slightly, and I was like this. And they brought this baby up, and then they did, but I knew I could, and I was directly communicating with her. Does the baby want to kind of, I've seen the baby, and they said the baby needs to see you to form a bond. Now, because it was obviously me, this baby was a clone of me, so it was me as a baby, but it had all my memories, like all 35, 40 odd years of memories in this baby. She was me, and she had all my memories. And they like held her up. He had it in like a cloth, and he was held up, and he didn't want to be near me. And they held her up like kind of that next to me, and he's like, so it was about here. And she looked directly, the second she looked directly into close, when they look at you, when you lay down and they look over at you, that's their way of seeing if you can connect to them. But this little girl, when they had her, and my eyes are connected with her, now I could feel a blackness. And the second I was in there, everyone else was out. So I'm pretty sure the taller one and the one holding the baby and the rest of the link, because there was loads of them there, they weren't in. It was just a private link between me and her, and I don't think they liked that, and they couldn't break it. But in that link, she was black inside. She wasn't. So if you open me up, took my head off, or took my cover off, if you like, if you open me up, you'd probably see, God, there's a lot of heartache there, there's a lot of love there, or you can feel emotion, you can feel frightened, scared, love, and you could feel the love I would have for my family or my partner. That was there. But when I took her cap off to look inside her, it was black. So if emotions were colours, to say love was red, there was no red in there, there was no pink, no yellow, no blue, no purple, no saffron, it was just black. There was absolutely nothing. She didn't have 1 ounce of emotion, but whatever she got engaged and needed from me, she obviously was getting, but she needed something from me. Now, to have a need is to have an urge or drive, which is emotionally driven. Now, I don't think they could hide it. I don't think they know how to use our emotions, or they didn't want her to have it. But to have a close bond, and I asked her in our link, why do you want to see me? And I could tell it wasn't, the outside was me, the inside wasn't. Biologically, she was me. She had black hair. She was very like pink, very pink baby, very pink in the face, very pink in the body. Her eyes were like, it wasn't look like, their eyes didn't quite look right, but they were black as well. But she was me, but pink, like small little baby pink. And she said, so the others, all the hundreds that were in the pod, there's hundreds of pods there. I actually built one up with mache, kind of look like this. They don't laugh. I'm going to paint it black. So imagine this, about 2 foot tall. Put my hand on it, and then they had babies kind of in there, one in each one, and there's thousands of buggers. But they were all girls. Anyway, so she had a bond with all the others, and she had an instant communication. So whatever she was seeing or wanted to upload, the others would later see, but they had to form a bond. They're all bonded. To have a bond, you have to have an emotion, but I don't know how they get around that. She didn't have human emotions. And if she had alien bonds or alien emotions, I couldn't read them, because all that was inside her was black. So she couldn't give a monkeys if I got ran over tomorrow. Would be nothing to her. But and I didn't feel a maternal instinct until they took her away. I didn't feel. I was still in shock. I think I was really in shock. But she said she wanted this picture. She took a picture of me with her eyes and showed me this image. I looked at her in this. I looked like I've been dragged back through a bush backwards. I looked very red and pink in the cheeks. I looked very hot, and I was naked under this rag. It looked like a rag had slipped down to like here, and it seemed quite short, like just above about a knee level, and it was like placed on top of me. So there's this rag. I don't know, it was done for her purpose or to make me put at ease. I don't know. But as soon as she like had her fill, so she was going to go back and share with the others. So when the others were hatched or born or whatever, this her memory of me would be forever in their link. So anyone in 50 years, 1,000 years could go into their link and you'll see a picture of me then in a couple of thousand years or a couple of million years. This is Tina Bird, and this is what she looked like when we took thousands or millions of her cells against her will when she was strapped to that table. So she'd have that image, and they took her away. And that was it. And to break our bond, they couldn't break that bond for some reason. So she obviously could do things that they can't do, and they use our emotions either with them or against them. They don't have emotions like we do, but they can't use our emotions like we do. So I think they try to blend us with them and form their own emotion, but for whatever purpose, I couldn't see or feel the attachment. But when they took her away, I felt a human attachment. I felt concerned for her welfare because all the others were still in those pods, but they'd taken her, they'd like hatched her, she was out. She looked about 6 to 8 months old, and they just took her. And I wanted to know what was going to happen to her. I then became more agitated. I was distraught. I think I was I'll just say, where as soon as they took her away, within I'm not sure how long it was, their sedative or whatever it was either wearing off. I don't know, but they couldn't control me. I think I was so emotionally upset. They didn't know what to do, but it was like a red flag to them. It was like trying to take a cub from a mama bear. They perceived me as more of a threat to them. Before, they didn't perceive me as a threat. So again, they're reading my emotions, and they're probably reading them right, but they can't use them. They don't know what to do. So they know how to read our warning signs, but I don't think they have it within them to put the pieces together what the warning signs are for. But Tommy, I think I've spoken enough. They've got some questions there, or I'll let you come back on. But that is my experience of emotions.
Well, thank you for that, Fatina. People see, that's why I trust her. Her story sounds incredible, but it's real. And to know what's really going on is important right now. There's more abductions than ever in history. And those people are still afraid to come out to talk about it. Now, I know multiple people, there's groups of people that are meeting to understand what's happening. They can't go to the government, or they don't want to, they're afraid to, and the government has their own game plan going on, which is separate than the human race. Because they're the ones that actually opened up the gateway for them to say, okay, you could abduct so many people and blah, blah, blah. But it's just like the whaling industry. You could abduct 10,000 people. Well, they could abduct 10,000 whales, 10,000 dolphins. But who counts them? And how can you count them? You can't. So there's things, if you want to find out little important facts, there's a couple books out there about people missing in parks. Children go 2 feet away from the car and they disappear. I mean, there's stories out there. And it's not about aliens. It's not about this or that. It's just about missing people. Now, when there's a war, nobody says how people go missing. And then again, when we talk about disasters like the Trade Center, they never found all those skeletons, never did anything about that either before they stripped that down. Now, they called in one person from the Philadelphia experiment to go in and analyze it. And he said there wasn't one smidgen burnt up piece of a computer in any of the debris that he was looking at. Not one piece of a skeleton that was in the part. Then on the ground level, they found a couple of skeletons, but I'm talking about any of the rubble that came down from all the way up from the top, how that was all incinerated. There's still multiple stories about that. We probably will never hear the truth about that in our lifetime. And that's why I said when Putin asked Trump to tell the truth, Putin knows the truth because he said, I'll release it if you don't. So now that Putin's friends with Biden, who knows how that's going to go down in the UFO world? I don't know if Biden's aware enough to understand the UFO world right now, which I'm sure he's not aware of because he's involved with politics in a great way, which is good. But he was probably never brought into the whole UFO level because only people after the first year of being president will they even start talking about that or bringing them into that because it's too controversial and contradictory to what we want to know as far as the truth. So we're at a point where Biden's really going to become a president finally. I mean, Trump has to slowly become aware that he has to step down. But
I think he's got to January though, hasn't he? I think a lot of it is his presidency isn't up till January, so everyone's saying step down. But I think it's like our prime minister here; they get 3 or 4 years, I think.
Well, on the 21st, he has to walk out of the White House.
Yeah.
All right, and they might be pulling him out. Who knows? But he's doing things and people around him, and he's firing as many people as he can, changing so many things, passing these bills that are supposed to be in effect for 4 years. I'm hoping, no matter what the bill is, we can cancel it. Like if he passed a bill that'll have to stay in effect for 4 years, can we take it away and change it? I don't know how that's going to go down, but he's making sure that we don't have control over pollution. I mean, things like that, which are serious problems. And the world for alien races, and I only say this from what I experience and know, needs to be radioactive for aliens to live here pleasurably, and they are making it radioactive. So I actually took my Geiger counter with me to the store yesterday.
Well done.
We have 2 giant cell towers within a half of a block.
Oh, but they was beeping like mad.
But no, listen to this. I went to the first one, which I think they upgraded to the 5G, has no signal at all.
Oh, well done.
I was amazed. So I was going to give up, and I said, well, let me just check out the other one. And I went right up to it, nothing from next to it. But walking 10 feet, 20 feet, 30 feet, 50 feet away, the signal became beeping. So what I realized, when you got a satellite antenna, the beam shoots out this way. It's not like it spreads out this way. So you're not directly getting it. So I left it on all the way home driving from the town. All right. And I noticed it picked up as I got like a half a mile away. And then it got stronger. And then when I was coming down this road to my house, which is 6 miles, halfway down where the school is to where it's called the store. And between there, it was beeping like crazy and the numbers went way up. So my other friend just told me, well, that's where they have all these bombs, nuclear bombs underground, which they never dug out. So there's a combination of things, but it was just funny. I would have never known that if I didn't keep my Geiger counter on.
Yeah, you get radioactive decay and things like that, don't you?
But it stayed all the way home. It was going up, it was going down, it was going up, it was going down.
How much radiation are you exposed to each day, Tommy?
See, I don't leave the house if I don't have to.
Have you searched your house for radiation?
My house is fine. The only radiation... Oh, get your thing out.
Hold on then, hold on. He's referring to the Geiger counter, everybody, by the way. Hold on.
Oh, sorry about that, people.
Hold on.
See what it looks like? All right.
1 second. I pack it away every week so I don't break it or lose
Mine's
it.
Mine's beeping, everybody.
So... Oh, he's on 60. Oh, you're on, that's the, so you're on, so I'm on 0, but, so this is near the computer, so it's not the computer, and then we're going to give me a check.
Oh, what's weird? I pointed to, oh, there, you can see it going off.
60, so that is, volts per meter, that's electrical magnetic field. So my radiation at the moment, oh.
Let me try to
go back down again. Hold on.
But it's going off. So even that.
Can you see that? From hold on.
I'll let the screen up. Where's your? No, I can't see it.
Because every time I get close. Hold on. So this is actual radiation. Oh, you bugger! Hold on. On my beep again. Can you see the radiation at the bottom?
Tina Bird is right over it. We can't see the oh, yes, we can.
Yeah?
Yep.
That's radiation. How the hell? Can I emit radiation from my body? There you go.
What's the letters for radiation?
Micro Teslas is at the bottom. So if anyone can explain why I've got radiation coming from my breast. From 5 to 13 micro, 0.1.
If you were giving milk to a baby, it would have to be radioactive if it was going to an alien baby.
I have no idea, Tommy. Oh, look, there you go. What's that one there? And my armpit there is. Oh, it's gone now. Stop, hold on. There. There.
Mine's still
22. Oh.
Mine was 22 when you said that, but it went up to 67 when I turned it.
So my breast there. See my breast, 15 to 9 to 2. So there you go. 35 there. See it? That's on my boob.
Yeah.
So how can I be radiating micro Teslas? So the bottom one is micro Teslas. That's radiation, and the top one is electrical magnetic field, volts per meter.
Well, this is kind of bizarre because, like mine, the electromagnetic field went up to 150 already.
So when in my computer it says, oh, there you go, nothing, and when I put it on me, it goes up. Oh, went to 2 then. Am I hold on?
Well, people see we keep an eye on the little things that people can't do without a Geiger counter, but they're cheap. They're only like what? How much you pay for yours? Do you remember?
Well, it was less than 20 quid. It was about £15, £10, £12, something like that. About 15, 18 quid.
Mine
was on that much.
Mine was on Wish for I think $23 or $24.
Oh,
something
look
like
at that.
Is that radiation or magnetic field?
Radiation. Look.
Oh man, you're in trouble.
That's coming from my brain. One.
And you know what I was trying to prove?
1 micro Tesla. One.
That if they monitor you, you go into radiation because there's no other possible way you could just go on and off. I mean, how's radiation go on and off? It's impossible. My brother's a scientist.
It's over the danger limit.
Yep. Well, we're not going to talk about all the problems you have because of radiation, which we really don't want to get into.
I'm scared now, Tommy.
Look, I keep telling you, I think they need you alive.
It's all the way through, look.
All right, that's enough. Let's talk again. I think they need you alive. All right?
They keep dosing me radiation. I'm going to die.
Well, if you were exposed to that radiation normally, you would have been dead probably. So something's protecting you in some strange way. But people, you only saw it here. And you only saw it with Tina. Just so you know, this isn't a game. We're not making this up. We didn't play with a machine to make it beep and all that kind of stuff. But there's things happening beyond scientific idea of awareness of what they can perceive and understand. I told my brother, he goes, it's impossible. I go, watch our show.
I mean, I just want to me.
I'm going to get down to myself to see if it's affecting me the same way. But I haven't been abducted. I haven't been on a ship. So she has. And I tell people, hold on, I see. This might be, oh, it's somebody else. I just wanted to see if she wanted to come in. I'm asking if she's listening.
So everybody, I urge you, while Tommy's just typing, I urge everyone, go online, get one of these, really good. I don't want to put it too close to me. If I put it close to the telly, it won't beep. It tells you about radiation. Okay, I'll take my hand away and go down. Hopefully it stayed down. And the top one is a micro Teslas. And it's between 12 and 15 pounds, 18 pounds maximum. I don't think it's any more than that. And I won't put it too close to me because I want it beeping again. And test your home, test yourself, test your car, where you walk your dogs every day. And the more exposure you'll get into one certain place, if you ever become a wow, then say to that power company where you'll pay my medical bills. You get it documented, write it down, tell your environmental health officer. Perhaps your environmental health officer doesn't know that you're being exposed to radiation on a daily basis, because that is not good for anybody's house. And please go to UFO groups. You can go anywhere online and listen to stuff Listen to people that have experience. Tommy has so much experiences. He doesn't go to groups. He's on here. He does it for free. He doesn't make any money. We don't make any money from this. We do it to make the public aware of our experiences.
Tell everybody about your books. We'll give them a quick.
So 1 second, I'm just going to go and grab my book because I have one here. I released one today, everybody. So it's an erotic book. It's going to be called The Checkpoint, and I'll show you a quick picture of it. So this is going to be one of a trilogy. This is The Checkpoint, and then you've got The Two-Edged Sword, which would be part 2, and then Bring It Home will be part 3. In between that, I'll release in another one as well, and I'm going to release, hopefully next year, sometimes towards the middle or the end of the year, I'm going to release a book about my alien abduction encounter, but I didn't go into writing for that. I went in, I had so much stored up and, ready to come out, and I just thought I'd write it. The first book I wrote is called The Guardians of Light and the Brotherhood of the Night. That's available on Kindle and Amazon, and it will be available on voice activate, the storytelling one. So there's my book. I just got a copy there. So there it is. So that's what it's going to look like, people. It's going to be called The Checkpoint. It's going to be released either tonight or the next 72 hours. So that's by me, Tina Ann Bird. It is erotica. It does contain extreme sexual content, so please be aware when buying that. And my first book.
Wait. Let me just stop you there.
Yeah.
All right. Now, these little children that are on that ship, are they going to become sexual beings?
I have no idea. They're all females, so they.
Your awareness.
They're all females. Let me just get my book so I can show you my book. I do apologise. I've got my snazzy pajama bottoms on.
Well, people, you heard it here first.
Yeah, so this is my book. It's called The Guardian of the Light and the Brotherhood of the Night. It's by me, Tina Bird. There's what the back comes. There's the number if you need to see it. You can buy it on Kindle or buy on Amazon in paperback. I'm going to have it republished because from Kindle to print to books, they squashed it down, made it longer. So it's 300 something pages long, I believe. And the cover, it's not the original cover. So as we blew it up to go on there, it didn't fit. So it'll be re-released as well like this. You can buy it for now in this format. So it'll probably be a limited edition. You can buy the hardback for $9.99 and Kindle is only $4.99, and it's be $4.99 for the Kindle version of The Checkpoint, and the hardback will be out in about 3 days. But that will be out now for Christmas. So you can buy any of my books. It is on Amazon. Yes, Carl, it's on Amazon. You can buy it on Amazon. And you can buy it on Kindle and Amazon Prime. You can have it delivered to you before Christmas, for Christmas gifts. If you ever run into me and you see me, guys, just stop me and I'll sign it for you. If I ever to go, I do sign a few things every now and then. But my next book is about The Checkpoint. So there you go. Tommy's also written a few books. So Tommy, tell them about your little books.
Well, I just want to say, about 30 years ago, I did a TV show. And one of the women on the show was talking about having sex with reptilians. And the one next to us, the guy was saying he was reptilian. It was an interesting show. I had to go a big lawsuit against the phone company, and it was all about that show, saying I was abducted by aliens and all. Kind of really bizarre story. But keeping back to the foundation, we're trying to bring the truth out. And I want everybody to know, when I write books, I didn't write alien books yet. And I probably won't until I find a way that it's really going to help us. I mean, I wasn't abducted, so I can't write about it. So Tina can. But for me, I write about spiritualism, the truth behind it, the aspects of how to find it, how to get into it, and all that, which I feel is the only thing that's important right now for every soul to realize who and what they are, where they're going to go, and why they're even here. So aliens have their own belief systems on that, their own teachings on that. And if you listen to all these stories, which I'm telling you about, like the Anunnaki, how they created us and all the other things, I said, you're never going to find out who you are. And where that is inside yourself. And you better start looking inside there for it, instead of paying these people to go to these conferences to listen to great stories. I mean, Ancient Aliens is great stories, but it's always, well, I believe. You believe in God? No. And my mind's doing it too. Who is it? She just sent me a text. All right. Well, people, I don't know how long you want to stay on. You want to stick around a few more minutes or no?
No, I'm going to go. Well, I'm just going to say our goodbyes. I'm going to go have dinner. I've been working all day. I've got my pajamas on. I'm so tired and so hungry. And again, everybody, I do apologise. If I could just say sorry to Tommy because he's a great host. If anybody, we'll be here again next Tuesday, our last one before Christmas. If you have any questions you'd like to ask, if you'd like to come on the show, you can ask me and Tommy anything. If we don't know an answer to any of your questions, we'll try and what's that device called? Oh, me and Tommy both have. It's a Geiger counter. So I'll hold you, just showed it up. That's the Geiger counter. Sorry.
Well, you need to get one. I mean, it's cheap.
Yeah, that's who makes it there. I don't know if you can see that electrical.
On Wish you'll find it. It's pretty cheap.
Yep.
And again,
it's a Geiger counter. So it does volts per minute, and it also does a microtester for radiation. So also say sorry, yeah. So me and Tommy are here again next week. So if you want to ask a question about anything that's related to any of the subjects we've mentioned, please do so. If you want a specific question that even we don't know, we contact a specialist to find out for you. Or perhaps you've listened to a previous show and you have an answer for me and Tommy, would be even better, even great. And if you have any more information coming out, or you've heard information in like the Israelis released it, if anyone can elaborate on that or would like to come on the show, please just message me and Tommy. We'll bring you onto the show and at any time. So it's goodbye from me here, Tina Baird in England, and I'm TA Baird on Amazon and Kindle. And you can find me on ET Girl on Facebook, and I run Hive, Human Individuals Visited by Extraterrestrial, and I run a blog. Tommy, over to you, and bye from Tina Baird here in the UK, and bye to Tommy in Hawaii. Tommy, over to you.
Bye, Tina. It's always a
pleasure.
Bye,
darling. Bye, viewers. See you next week.
All right, everybody. That's Tina Baird. She's an incredible person. Basically, it's called electromagnetic radiation detector. A Geiger counter. On Wish, you can get it for like $23. It goes up and down, but check it. It's a good thing to have when you go around to see what you shouldn't be near, what you should stay away from. Like I said, I went to where the satellite towers are and saw the radiation within the field around the parking lot. A friend of mine just texted her people have the virus. So, my name's Rev.Hawksblood. I have a few books out there, but basically they're more pertaining to spiritualism and things to do to become that, or become aware of how to get to that level. I do a couple shows during the week. Anybody who wants to come on a show, has anything important to say, please do. Text me at hawksblood1aol.com. I open to anything pertaining to the subjects that I know. I don't want to go into subjects I don't know, because I don't want to bring things that I don't feel are important or what I can't actually debate about. From UFOs, aliens, religion, spiritualism, death, reincarnation, ghosts, spirits, exorcisms. Reincarnation is really my forte, because I experience all mine. I am aware of all my past lives back to Atlantis and one before that. So death, I had 5 death experiences. I worked with ghost busting when I was 15 for years. I became a high priest at 16. So any of those fields I can talk about, but talking about cars, buses, planes, submarines, I know little, but I do know what the government has created from the UFO world. So please, any questions, or you want to come on, have any important information, please send this link to everybody you know. I know I'm not doing this for money. I'm not doing it for fame, fortune, or any of that. All I'm trying to do is get the real truth out. You go to a UFO conference, you're going to hear multiple stories saying this is the truth, that's the truth, but it has nothing pertaining to what you should be aware of and learning how to protect yourself from. I give Tina a technique, and then the ships were over her house that night. Not that that's what she wanted. So please stay in touch, stay tuned in. I do shows on spiritualism as well, probably near the middle of the week this week. Open for anything. Till next time. Questions, please. I love questions. You could just email me them, and I'll bring them on the show as well. I'm here to help people get to what they need in their life, not what I need in mine. I have what I need in my life. But some people don't want anything in their life. That's their choice too. But peace, love, compassion, whatever you need in your life, hope you get it, find it, and search, and don't stop until you get it. Remember, it's inside you. It's nowhere else. And you're not going to find anybody else's truth that's going to be beneficial for you. So goodbye from Hawaii for today. Till next time.